All right, so let's get into it. The new bracket. It is something else, folks. This is it. If you're watching on YouTube, you have the new bracket in front of you. Great job by the English account to clean it up, get rid of all the names that were eliminated, and give us the perfect, dynamic as to how this is going to close out. So at the top, we got Momo Watanabe. She is awaiting the winner of Mai Sakurai and Mariah May, which will be happening on Saturday, April 1st. So this coming Saturday, and then Momo will face whoever wins that match in the on the next day at the Cork and Hall show. Bottom bracket here, we got Shuri and Saki Kashima going at it again, with the winner going on to face none other than Waka Tsukiyama. Oh my god. Waka Tsukiyama has a 50% chance of getting to the semifinals of this tournament. That's crazy.
It's, as talked about earlier, that momentum. She's riding that wave. Wakamania is running wild.
Wakamania is running
she's
wild.
Like a legitimate pick as like a lot of people's favorite now going into this. Just looking at the bracket, the way it's come out, and I think if you'd have said that like a week ago,
oh my
like
god.
What? But I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's
looking at it again. Like looking at this tournament again, I'm like, I have no idea who's gonna win this damn thing. Because like I said, how Mariah May could be a favorite now. Because if you look at her thing, I could see her beat Momo, mostly because Momo doesn't need to win this tournament by any means. She did it long ago. She doesn't need to come back and win this tournament all over again. So it almost feels like Mariah May is the favorite in her, fraction of the bracket to get to the semis. And then it's between Waka, Saki, and Shuri. And if we're right, Saki's beating Shuri, and then that presumably leads to Waka beating Saki Kashima. So she feels like the favorite in her segment, despite Shuri being there.
I think an interesting thing with the upper portion of that bracket, obviously we just said that Mariah May could be a big favorite. I think if Waka's getting to the semi-finals, I would not rule out Mai Sakurai getting to the semi-finals as like kind of a story.
Crazy.
I think Mai Sakurai is someone a lot of people predicted as maybe the one that Waka would beat to get her first win. Obviously, that never ended up panning out. But I think if we're giving Waka a really big spot, by possibly getting to the finals of this whole thing, I think having a match against Mai Sakurai would be big. I'm not too sure how we get there, considering the opponent she's got. But I don't know how we got here. So, I'm not ruling anything out.
Well, everyone I think people well, you kind of with the Cinderella. This is the point. I like to remind people this is the point of this tournament. It is for names to be elevated. Even if you didn't expect the names to be elevated, it is for names to be elevated, and someone's getting elevated in this tournament, no matter what. We have the other side of the bracket, Ami Saray awaiting the winner of Tam Nakano Natsuko Tora. Tam Nakano Natsuko Tora should have a great match. Again, could happen either way, right? Because Tam, I don't think Tam's winning this. I don't know why she would to begin with. I don't know why she'd be winning the Cinderella tournament. And Tora, she could get a bump there. She's been in the finals of the Cinderella before, so it's not crazy to see her go far. Ami Saray kind of feels like the favorite for that part of the bracket. I don't really know. I think all three are pretty equal, truthfully.
I think Tam. I would lean a little bit more towards Tam just because she kind of
and she's Tam.
She's discussed things that she might be doing if she wins it, and I guess if you want to keep that story going, then you get it further in. And I think another thing to consider is if we do think Waka's making the final, I can't think of a better final opponent than Tam. I think that would, we talk about.
I don't think there would be a deeper Tam road than that match.
Yeah, we've seen the Tam road threads just for Waka's match at New Blood Premium. If we got a final between those two, I think she'd go on and on. But And with like I said about her being the best in the world at getting these heightened emotions in these big matches, I think that match could really deliver on that front. But it is a tough call on that side, as we got Mirai and Saida.
Yeah.
That's going to be another one, which will be that should be a great match. We've seen those two mix it up a little bit before, but I could see either of those two progressing. I wouldn't mind seeing either of those two progressing. I would lean more towards Mirai because she's slightly more pushed than Ida, but again,
Yeah.
that's what the Cinderella's about, making new stars, big upsets. So either way, I
Yeah.
think that one will be.
Mariah's excellent, obviously, and her and Saida have great chemistry. We saw that at World Climax last year. I believe we saw it in the GP last year as well. So seeing them link up here is really cool. Ida has yet to beat Mariah. Maybe this is their time to pull off that upset, but I don't know. I think Mariah probably at least wins the next one. And then we have Tekla and Xena. So an all Gaijin battle. I think I'm favoring Tekla. I you would hope, maybe. I don't know.
It's an interesting one because we don't really know where Stardom sees Xena in the pecking order. She's beat it was Hina, right? I get mixed up. Was it Hina or Rena?
Hina. She beat Hina.
Yeah, Hina. Which and she's like towards the kind of the bottom end of the card, so it's not the most telling result. But I think in terms of the match itself, I think with like a seemingly pretty athletic background coming from a Ninja Warrior, former contestant there, I'd be interested to see what she can do with Tekla, who is kind of like, she is kind of part of that high speed kind of cohort of the roster. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I could see that going either way, and it kind of all just comes down to how Stardom sees Xena as moving forward. Club Venus is seemingly doing pretty well at the moment, and like I said, I think they're going to break off soon. So, could be a big moment for her there. But again, Tekla is another one that I'd like to see go far. So, an interesting call to be made.
If you had to call it now, what would your final be?
Oh,
I won't make you pick a winner. I'll just make you pick a final because I think that's just as hard to predict right now.
I think I've sold myself this Waka Tam final, just because I can see the roadmap to it. I can see obviously Tam's like on the upper end, so I can see her beating anyone there.
Yeah.
The Tora match is a difficult first one, but she can get through that. Waka is kind of relying on the Saki thing, and if Shuri wins, then not a chance.
Oh, no.
I think Saki's going to get the job done, and then I think Waka can get a roll up or over the top rope elimination there. And then I would hope my Sakurai maybe somehow gets to there. I think that makes the most sense. But that's what I'm leaning towards. I don't know. What about you?
So the thing with the Tam Waka one, it's like Waka can't win because then Tam's challenging for the world title like a week later. So that's the only thing because I think I don't. All right, I'll give my guess because I think it's so off that it doesn't really matter. But I think we're gonna keep playing to the Mariah story here. I'm gonna go with Mariah May and Mariah in the finals. I think I really do think Mariah May has shown enough over the past couple months to show that like it wouldn't be crazy if she got this big spot. We Tony Storm won it before, so she wouldn't be the first, international outsider to come in and win by any means. And I think she's shown a lot. And also plays to the Mariah story of can Mariah get it done? And I don't have to pick a winner, thankfully. That was my rules here. Because I think Mariah coming up short again is interesting, but I also think Mariah winning the tournament, and if Mina were to lose, she would be a lock to win that title. So I think that's kind of how I look at it. It's like it could go either way. Picking a back-to-back winner feels very crazy because it doesn't happen. But they've kept her as a main part of their promotion despite the loss last year for a reason. So Now I expect the final to be like Momo Watanabe and Tekla, because neither of us even slightly considered that.
Yeah.
Or like Ami Sarai and Mariah May, and it'll be odd. Or Waka Tsukiyama and Natsuko Toro.
Yeah. we have the next couple of matches this Saturday, right?
Yes, so this Saturday.
only be a few days before this whole thing goes out the window.